Our bodies are pretty amazing, right? They're constantly fighting off invisible invaders. But what if we could give our natural defenses a serious upgrade? Well, today, we're going to open up the immune system's toolkit and look at two of its most powerful tools, vaccines and Sera.
So let's start with the biggest question of all. When some brand new nasty bug shows up, how does your immune system, which has never ever seen it before, figure out how to fight it? It's a fascinating puzzle. And honestly, understanding the answer is the key to so much of modern medicine.
It really all begins with our body's own defense system. So, before we get into the tools, we first have to get our heads around the two basic strategies our body uses to become immune and, keep us from getting sick.
So what even is immunity? At its core, it's all about recognition and reaction. Your body's like a bouncer at a club. It spots something that doesn't belong, some foreign protein from a virus or bacteria, and it custom builds a response team called antibodies to go in and neutralize the threat. Okay, so this whole process really splits into two main paths. First, you've got active immunity. This is where your body actually learns how to build its own antibody factory for long-term defense. Think of it like your immune system hitting the gym and training for a fight. Then, you've got passive immunity. This is totally different. It's like calling in temporary backup. You're just given the ready-made antibodies you need for an immediate problem.
All right, let's dive into that first approach, the training program. If building up that long-term active immunity is the goal, then you can think of vaccines as the drill sergeant. They're designed to kickstart that whole learning process, but without you having to go through the misery of getting sick first.
And that process is called immunization. It's a pretty ingenious idea, right? The goal is to get all the good stuff from an immune response, the learning, the memory, the antibody production, without any of the danger or awfulness of the actual disease. It's basically a biological sneak peek.
So here's how it works, in 3 simple steps. First, expose. Your body gets introduced to a harmless part of the pathogen, like a weakened or broken piece of it. Second, respond. Your immune system sees it, goes, hey, you don't belong here, and starts building those custom antibodies. And third, and this is the magic part, it remembers. It creates this immune memory, so if the real deal ever shows up, your body is already armed and ready to go, often for your entire life.
But what if you don't have time to train? What if you've already been exposed to something really dangerous and you need protection, like right now? Well, that's where the second tool in our kit comes in, Immune Sera. This is your immune system's emergency response team.
So unlike a vaccine that teaches your body to make its own defenses, Immune Sera just hand-deliver the defenses directly to you. We're talking about vials full of pre-made, ready-to-fight antibodies. They give you immediate protection, but, and this is the key difference, it's temporary, because your body didn't learn how to make them on its own.
And this means Sera can be incredibly specific. They might contain antitoxins, which are built to fight the specific poisons released by bacteria. Or they can be antivenins, and these are literal lifesavers for things like snake or spider bites. You can have Sera with antibodies targeting specific bacteria, specific viruses, or even something as specific as red blood cell factors.
Now, of course, whenever you're talking about powerful medical tools like these, safety is absolutely critical. So there's a pretty clear rule book for how and when to use vaccines and Sera to make sure they're both working well and being used safely.
For vaccines, you'll hear medical pros use 2 key terms. The first is contraindication. That's a hard stop. It's a situation where a vaccine just shouldn't be given, like if someone has a really weak immune system or a known severe allergy. The other term is caution. Think of this more like a yellow light. It just means let's be careful, or maybe let's delay this a bit. For instance, if a person already has a high fever from some other infection.
And look, because a vaccine is literally designed to fire up your immune system, it's pretty normal to feel some effects. These are actually good signs. They show your body is learning and building that protection. So things like a low-grade fever, feeling a bit wiped out, or having a sore arm, that's all pretty common and usually very mild.
And I just want to be really clear here. While those mild effects show the immune system is doing its job, serious, severe reactions are incredibly rare.
Immune Sera have their own safety rules too. Because you're getting antibodies from an outside source, there's always a chance of an allergic reaction. The side effects might look similar to a vaccine, fever or a rash, but doctors are also watching very carefully for any signs of allergy. and they're especially cautious with people who are pregnant or have issues with blood clotting.
Okay, so how are we actually using all this incredible science today? Well, these fundamental strategies are right at the forefront of protecting us from some of the most serious health challenges out there, including some potential biological threats.
This science is absolutely vital for global security. We have vaccines for threats like anthrax and smallpox, which are often given to military members and other high-risk groups. For something like botulism, a related tool called a toxoid is available. And in what was a huge breakthrough, we now have an FDA-approved vaccine for Ebola, which just goes to show how essential this field continues to be.
So, at the end of the day, the principles of active and passive immunity are truly our best line of defense in a pretty unpredictable world. The real question isn't if new threats are going to pop up, but when. And as they do, how will these amazing strategies for vaccines and Sera keep evolving to protect us? Well, that's a story that's still being written. Thanks for joining me on The Explainer.